Hi guys, today I want to show you something special. I want to talk about my school in Basel where I come from, and there is a book which just came out from Dorothea Hofmann, and there is who's the wife of Armin Hofmann, who was my teacher a long time ago, and I want to talk about this book. So, Graphic Design Manual, Principle and Practices from Armin Hofmann. This book published at Nickli publisher in 1965 has been everywhere, and it contains a lot of very, very interesting information. Armin Hofmann is born in 1920, so if we are right, if I am right in the math, it is 100 years this year. I've been asked in my school at San Jose State University to try to create a few exercises for our starting students. I went through this book here and tried to find some exercise. And one exercise is actually the start of my class. So I'm going to show you one of those double spread. If I share my screen right now, you can see here, this is a page. The book is made, it's very interesting, it's made in 3 languages, German, French, and English. And then there are little questions. And the first question here is, how big must be the dot in order to be effective in a given area? So those are very basic thinking. And here is a dot in the center, or here dots in the grid, or what's the difference between a mass, a shape like a line, or a dot alone, or 2 versus 1, or maybe the start of an expanding series, which could bring us to patterns. So this is this kind of stuff that are in the book. And here, for example, you have a story with a shape, again, a cross or something, and then you have here 2 dots, and here you have 1 dot alone, or here you have a free distribution. So this is maybe on a pattern, on a grid, and this is a free distribution. So we are talking here about maybe grouping issues and so on. And this one here, this is the exercise I was interested to work with. So I'm going to talk about this exercise, and I'm going to explain you what it is. So here I see it's defined as 3 groups of dots from the same pattern. So I'm going to try to explain a little bit how I make this exercise. It will be also great for my student, because my students, when they come to our first class of graphic design, they think, okay, cool, I'm going to design a CD cover, I'm going to learn a bunch of stuff on the software, I'm going to learn to make cool stuff, you know, amazing things. And no. They arrive to my class and they have to do this very, very special exercise. So for this exercise, the tool, since it's the first day, imagine it's the first day, the tool is not a computer. No, the tool is that. What the heck is that? Well, that, you all know what this is, right? This is our tool, and this tool makes amazing graphic elements. which is a dot. I'm going to show it here on a black surface, right? You know those dots. Ooh, I have a bunch of those little dots here. So I'm going to show you here in real how it works. So see here, here is a dot, and I'm following the book of Armin Hofmann. I'm asking them to make some shapes, you know, whatever, with 6 dots. So, okay, that's one, you know, so you have to be able to count until 6, and then you can have, you can copy and paste, and this is, of course, we play with Illustrator, and you have different guys. That's all what we do at the first exercise. So this is the first step. It's quite a long exercise, and you can see, for example, here, this is a beautiful table of a student who organized herself with the dots, and this is here another student making his shapes. And the goal is first to randomly create those shapes, and then to start to organize them. You've seen them, what I've shown you already. You have 2 sort of shapes. You have the random shapes, and you have the shapes that are symmetrical. Once you have the symmetrical shape, you try to have 4 different symmetrical compositions. So you have to create symmetrical composition. That's first category, first family. So and similar shapes. So you have, for example, this little triangle, and then also to try to see what happens when you have your 3 shapes creating the symmetrical composition, and then the 3 shapes together, what you can do. And this is very basic little exploring, and you start to think about directions. So what comes next? Let's see what comes next. So I'm showing you here some workbooks. Oh yes, the second story is the random composition. Okay, that becomes a little bit more complicated. Let me show you that. So I'm going to share my screen again. The random composition here. We are on of course there is a grid. I'm not going to go there. You can build your stuff with some templates, so you can take away what you don't need. You know, I've been very I prepared a lot of little help, so that when we start the exercise, the students are completely not struggling with the technique, you know. And you do your sketch by hand, and then you reconstruct them by you know. So here basically what I'm doing, I'm just deleting on and on and on, right? So deleting all those and there is a little grid behind, and then that helps me to move around my little dude. So here, if I'm grouping this guy, grouping, this is also new stuff. Many people are new in this software. So what can you do? You move around. You can turn them. You can only turn them. That's all what you can do. No mirroring, nothing, and you can place them in the space, and you can try to do you have to do a random composition. What is a random composition? What is he saying? So that's really the start of of a big issue in graphic design, which is how do you place things in a space? Huh? We call this surface manipulation. So this is the second category. It is make different stories out of a similar shape, random shape, different direction. Remember the one before they were all in the same direction, the symmetrical one. Now this one is in different direction. Okay, and the next question, how do you know? How do you know if this is good or bad? How do you know? So this is another problem. And I want to try to show you the steps that we're working on. So on those steps, here you have, for example, the research of on a page of the random composition. You can see, for example, here, not the entire space has been used. So this is not good, you know, and you see my reactions and so on. Or this one, for example, is a symmetrical composition. We want to have a random composition. So how we do that? So and it also how that is the essence of your research. How do you know when you design something if something is good or something is bad? So that's why we're doing those very, very basic exercise. This comes later, but I want to show you the little exercise here, how it is again after having your random composition. Now you have to create a composition with 3 different shapes. That's the third family. And the third family you have to turn. Okay, you know, I'm forcing you to turn your composition. Everything can turn inside within the composition, and then so that you can compare and think about what is the best and start to make choice. But unfortunately, here the teacher is not very happy because I think that this composition is not a very good composition. And that's where we go again deep in graphic design. What is a composition? Why is this composition not good enough? Maybe the dots are not very grouped very well together. They're too loose. You not have a clear differentiation of the 3 shapes. They start to merge together, or the composition is also too symmetrical somehow. And I'm showing one very good one, very, very simple one that was done by hand. And oh, that's later. Okay, so let's stop. Let's stop on that one and show you the first step. So I'm going to share again my screen and then to show you, for example, where we're going with this. So we're having the first family. This is symmetrical. I've been showing you this around, and always on this page, you know, those pages are also template that I deliver, and then I'm defining here the different families. So you have the second family, which is the family random, and with the best of the composition here, with the research of which direction is the best. The third family is the family with different shapes, and which one is the best. So I demand to have a different research, always 4 different ones, and I'm asking the student to ask themselves again now, how does it work? What does it make? And there is a sort of a cognitive research here. You know, you do something, how does it feel? What happens? How do those shapes work together? And for that, I'm asking the student to explain this with little arrows. So the arrows are actually mimicking the shapes. What are they doing? This one, for example, the triangle here is going down. This one here is maybe a shape that is going up or down. I don't know, for me it's going up, for the student it's going down. And we start to talk about that, and we start to react on that. So on a page like that, for example, let's see what we have. We have your shapes, and then you can move them, you can copy them, you can transform them. Oh, let's find another one. I think I had one ready. Yes, here. So you have like something like this. So how you do now? Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you see this is the good one, or do you think you can turn? Maybe is this better for you, or do you want to play with it, ungroup it, you know, and then say, well, wait, this one is better here, and so and this is design. Oh no, it's definitely not better, because we have they were starting to merge together. So it's a composition exercise. It's about direction, it's about grouping, it's about spatial interaction and balance. It's about the positive space and the negative space, the emptiness, what happens in between. Very, very important. So at that stage, the students are quite a little bit surprised. It's not what they were expecting. Again, they were expecting to go and design cool stuff. Well, no, they have to design this page basically. And you have here first category, the symmetrical category, second category, 3 different shapes. Oops, you see here, there's a little mistake. Someone forgot or lost their dot. And then this is the second one, different directions. And then the third family, which is create 4 different little composition with different shapes. And that leads to the next step of the exercise. What? There is a next step? Yeah, wait. So the next step is, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go in our little story here and share again and play the next step, which is that. What the heck is that? Well, that's the next part of the exercise. Now you have your shapes. Now you take 2 circles, you transform each shapes with 2 circles, and you translate that in always a square, right? In different variations. So they should be here. They are separated circles. Here they are starting to touch. Here they are intersecting, and here there are 3 different variations. One is separated, one is starting to intersect, and one is more separated. Let's see what's the next page of that. Oh, that's the end of the first exercise, okay, with 2 students who are still surprised of what's just happened in those first lessons in my graphic design class. So second page, I want to show you the second page. I'm sharing again my screen. The second page is quite actually beautiful. I think, you know, we're talking here at that moment, we're talking about Malevich, the black square, and things like that. Look at this guy here, and look the translation, you know. So I'm asking to try, as I told you, to try different positioning and to mimic the same composition in different variation with pairs of dots, and then they start to merge together, and then they start to have variations, iterations, like this circle becomes larger, this comes a bit closer, we learn about starting to make masks, and then we integrate the gray. Why do we integrate the gray? Okay, so let's pick up this guy here, let's bring it here, and let's try to imagine what is this guy. Why is this guy on the left is similar to this guy on the right, which was the start, right? The origin. So this is symmetrical, this is symmetrical. This comes with a direction from left to right, for example, and then this comes from direction from left to right. This one is another little shape, and it has another kind of direction, and you see the direction here is a little bit sort of a diagonal, and this guy sort of goes straight up or down and is on the edge, and so, and this would be the story. But it's not only about direction, and that's where the exercise is actually very interesting. It's about hierarchy. What do you read? How do you read something? And then out of a square like that, you know, you remember we started with our little dots, right? Now we are here. What do you see first? What do you see first? And you have to observe, what do you see first? So the students here decided to work with the gray to explain what he or she was seeing first, and she was seeing this first, this, and maybe that one after, and that one after. 1, 2, 3. So one, you see here, we are attracted, the eyes are kind of attracted by this first, and maybe the second one here, this white surface, and the third one down there. Where does it lead us now? Well, it leads us to another step that I decided to develop with another school, which is San Francisco State. There, we went even further, and I'm going to try to share that with you. Where is that exercise here? A beautiful presentation from a student of mine. Hold on, I have to show you this in large. Is it going to work in large? Yes, I want to do that. So this is research. So you've been through that, right? So we are here obviously on the page of the symmetrical composition on the left. We have the random composition on the right. What do we have next? We have the page here again with the symmetrical family, the random family, and the super random family, where they are all different. And then the start of the explanation of what you see here by with different arrows. So these arrows is the biggest one, would be the first one that we would see in this case, and then the second one is this, and the third one is that. What's next? Well, what's next? It's exactly what we saw which is the research of the pair of dots. Beautiful page. And then you have here a final. And this is what we decided to go further away at San Francisco State. That's funny. We decided to play and transform those into letters. And actually you have here, if I go back, we're trying to work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 letters. So I distributed 6 letter words. I gave a font. We're working with Avenir in this case, not with classic font. And then out of this, we are doing iteration of how we could mimic the hierarchy, the directions of a message with the letters, and arriving from our little dots into a message that is readable. And if it's readable, that's another question. So that is the exercise. I would like now to show you a few little examples in the real world that I made. So you can apply those rules that you just discover by doing a very basic exercise like this. Again, grouping, direction, hierarchy, and so on in many things, you know, and anything you design, a website, a page, typographical page, I don't know, you know, anything like that, you find ways to design things for real, right? So for example here, you know, 1, 2, 3, there is a hierarchy, there is a way to enter into something that you have created. For example, I can show you here. Let's try to see what I have done. If we go here, on a poster I've done for RAR, a flower and gift shop. So I was lucky because the name was a palindrome, you know. He had 2 different, is this a palindrome? I don't know, you tell me. 2 different directions, you could read it both ways. So RAR, R-A-R, and then so you have really here again 1, 2, 3. No, I want to go back there. I'm not done. And then with the place, the website, the phone number, and playing around with hierarchy. And so the colors, you know, the place brings you to the gift shop and the flowers and so on. This is a beautiful picture from Adriano Biondo in Basel. The next one, and you know how I like to work with photography, the next one is a poster made with the picture of Lee Friedman, who's in San Francisco. And there again, you have a sort of a hierarchy, P-U-C-E, puce, flea. It's a flea. Flea is actually also a 4-letter word. P-U-C-E, flea. It's a flea market. It's a poster for a flea market. And I played with those 4-letter. The next one is quite more wild, but you have the same kind of random composition with 1, 2, 3 wheels. Those are wheel from a watch, parts from a watch. This is a beautiful photographic from Franz Werner in Rhode Island, who just made a book about his art of working with light and graphic elements. Here you have, for example, this is how it works. You have the logo, then you have the name of this little shop, who was a watch and jewelry store in Basel. So you have the name who's popping out, you have watches, you have jewelry, and all this is creating different rhythms that are playing together with within this beautiful image that you don't know exactly how it's made. You know, you have, and we could go back there. There is some projection, some shadows, etc. Some projected Roman numbers. Here you have the phone number. So there's sort of integration, and that's how we work very close together to arrive to this quite amazing poster. I still love it so much. And then the last one is playing a little bit with the same rule. You know, you have a woman, a very nice picture of a woman from a photographer from San Francisco, Robert Schlatter, and the numbers. It was done for a poster for AIGA, who had the visit of 9 different studios in town in San Francisco, and it was called the SEAM, and you could visit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different crystals, jewels within the city. This poster, by the way, made his way all the way to a beautiful book, Meg's History of Graphic Design. I think this is the 5th edition, and he made it all the way to his in the cover. So, but that's another story. So for today, from a little dot, right? Little dot, I can find it, the dots here, little dots. From our little dots to our graphic exercise, all the way to history of graphic design. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon again in this little place.